So, what do you mean by respiration? It is a simple process by which living organisms release energy from food. So, we all know that we are getting energy from the food we eat. So, when we eat our food, what will be releasing? We will be getting energy from that food by this process of respiration. So, this respiration happens in all cells of our body, and this releases energy from the food we eat. So, and it is happening in all living things. And there will be two types of respiration, that is aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. From the term itself, we can know that aerobic respiration means it is happening in the presence of oxygen, while anaerobic respiration means the respiration happening in the absence of oxygen. So, as we all know that if we are eating our food, that food will be digested, and that digested food will be reacting with the oxygen to release water, carbon dioxide and energy. So we are taking in food to release energy, to get the energy from the food. So this process is known as respiration. So now we can know in detail about the human respiratory system. So we have already said that respiration is a chemical reaction that is happening inside every living cell. Why it is called as a chemical reaction? On reacting with the food with the oxygen, we are getting carbon dioxide and water along with the energy. So it is a chemical reaction. This kind of respiration usually happens inside our cells of the body, then it is called as the aerobic respiration. What is special about this aerobic respiration? This aerobic respiration will be using oxygen. So what will be the kind of respiration which happens in the absence of oxygen? It is known as anaerobic respiration. So cells produce carbon dioxide as a waste product here. So what will be the waste product of the respiratory process? Carbon dioxide will be the waste product. Now, if you see in this picture, we all know that the air around us contains oxygen. So while we are breathing, we are taking in the air into our lungs, and out of that air, some of the oxygen goes to the blood. And what will this blood do? The blood will be delivering that oxygen to each and every part of our cell, and the cells will use that for respiration. Also, the blood collects the waste product of the carbon dioxide from the cells and take it back to the lungs. So what will be the blood doing? The blood will be carrying oxygen to different parts of the body, and in return the blood also does another activity of collecting the waste product of carbon dioxide from the different parts of the body. So in both the conditions, we know that lungs are the organs which take in the oxygen and also which get rid of the carbon dioxide from our body, and all of this process together constitute the respiratory system. So as in the figure, you can see the position of lungs, and these lungs are the respiratory organs of human beings. It is seen in the upper thoracic cavity of human body. Now we can see the structure of respiratory system. As you can see in the picture, we inspire or we take in the oxygen or the air through our nasal cavity. From there, the air passes to the pharynx. Then from the pharynx, the air is connected or transferred to the larynx. There is a special feature about larynx. What is it? Larynx is the voice box. It consists of the vocal cords, and the vibration of the vocal cords results in the formation of a voice. So larynx is known as the voice box. So from the larynx, the air will be transferred to a tube-like structure known as trachea. Trachea consists of ring-like structures around it. So from the trachea, it will be transported, the air will be transported to the oxygen containing blood or the oxygen containing blood will be transported through the lungs via the continuation of the trachea known as the bronchi. So trachea gets bifurcated into two parts known as bronchi. So then the bronchi later bifurcated to form bronchioles. Then the bronchioles get bifurcated to the end part, which is known as the air sacs or the alveoli. So if we analyze the passage of air in the respiratory system, air will be transferred from nasal cavity to the pharynx, then to the larynx, then to the trachea. From there, the trachea gets bifurcates into two bronchi. Then to the bronchi, it enters into the lungs, and the bronchi again get bifurcated to form the bronchioles, and the bronchioles then to the alveoli or the air sacs. So this is how the air is transported from the nasal cavity to the lungs. So air gets into your body through the mouth or the nose, as we have already told. So both of this mouth and nose are connected to the trachea, and the trachea is always called the windpipe because it consists of the major passage for the voice, or the major passage for the air around us. Okay, it consists of the passage area where the air is moving. That's why it is known as the windpipe. Okay, so trachea branches into the two bronchi. The singular form of the bronchi is bronchus. Okay, from the trachea it bifurcates into two bronchi which enters the lungs. Also, this bronchi and the trachea are made up of cartilage to support themselves. Okay, one bronchus goes to each lung, and each one of them carries air deep into the lungs. So trachea will be bifurcating into bronchi, then the bronchi get bifurcates into bronchioles. Then what happens? These bronchioles end at the branching points where it consists of many tiny structures known as air sacs or alveoli. This is where the oxygen goes into the blood and carbon dioxide comes out. So this alveoli structure helps in the movement of oxygen and carbon dioxide between the lungs and the blood tissues. Okay, so that's all for today. So we have told about the passage of air through the respiratory system, and let's revise this topic in the end. That is, air will be passing via the nasal cavity, then to the pharynx, then to the lungs, via the larynx, trachea, then the bronchi and the bronchioles, which end in the alveoli. So this is the passage of air in the respiratory tract. Okay, that's all for today. We can study about the next session in the next video. That's all for today. Thank you so much for listening.